Hello, what's up? It's Doug Cunnington here. This is the Friday Q&A. We'll talk about affiliate marketing and we'll talk about project management, and I will answer your questions live. I think that you can hear me because I heard myself there for a second. I'm going to try and keep an eye on the chat for the people that pop in here, which it doesn't look like there's too many folks here just yet right now. Let me know if you could hear me. That'll be great. Give me a shout. Let me know if it's your first time on a live stream or if you're a veteran like Jaron. We got one of our kind moderators. We have Alwayne, a usual suspect. I'm hanging out here, rainy day here in Bozeman. It's actually warmer. It's unseasonably warm, I would say, which means it's a cold rain of like 36 degrees or something like that. But it's not snowing, which actually maybe would be better if it would just snow. But I'm drinking some chai tea here. We have Furhan on, Sadie's on, and Jaron is telling me that you didn't get the normal alarm thing for this, which is interesting because I was trying to do a better job, like letting people know, and like scheduling these things ahead of time. But like, we'll just have to see how it goes. I'll have to let folks know. Actually, right now, I'll let you know. If you want to make sure that you get notifications on these, there's a little bell, I think, on my channel. Like if you go to the main channel page and you could click the bell and you'll get notifications most likely. The other thing is if you watch more of my videos and like leave comments and leave like a like and just spend more time on the channel, I'm pretty sure that YouTube sees that you're doing that and they will be more likely to send you notifications. No one really knows how that stuff works, but all else fails, you can go to the channel. You can see when these things are scheduled, which are Friday at this time, 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And if you click set reminder, you should get such a reminder, I think. I don't know. Okay, a couple quick announcements as we're getting started. There's an FAQ like page that I created. I'm slowly adding to it, but there are at least several thousand words in the FAQ section. There's a link in the description. It goes over to my blog, Niche Site Project. And welcome. I see more people are coming on here. Say hello, please. Let me know where you're from and all that good stuff. The thing is with the FAQs, I can answer things a little bit more like in a long form format. They're not too long. I get to the point and I don't ramble on too much, but at least it's like edited and I've thought it through. So there will be many questions today. I'll say, hey, check out the FAQ, and then I'll answer it quick. But check out the FAQ for more details. If you're interested in being more productive, and we should plan for like being productive for the new year, if you're doing a resolution thing, don't wait. You should go ahead and start planning for next year, like now, which is what I'm doing. Productivity course, if you're interested in that sort of stuff, there's a link in the description. I have a guest posting service, which is closed now, but you can get more info there, and it opens up occasionally, not too often, and the niche site process. So if you're brand new to affiliate marketing and you don't know much about it, or Amazon affiliate marketing, then you should probably take a look at the niche site process. And that is another long form guide. I go into great detail, and that takes you from the beginning from like starting your site to launching it to doing link building and all that stuff. All right. So thanks everyone for hopping on. All right, Storyteller, what's going on? We have Shannon thanking me for what I do, and it's loud and clear. Awesome. Jaron is mentioning, usually get a Chrome pop-up saying that I'm going live and all that stuff. Interesting. It did not happen today. I don't know what's up with that. All right, Steven is on. What's up? We have Niam. We have Raul. Good to have you on. Furhan says the bell notification does work. All right. And Steven says I should be drinking more water because I have a wrinkly face and everything. So it's a little throwback joke. Thanks there, Steven. You know what? You can't drink enough water to get the hair to grow back. That's the thing, though. Adrian, good to have you on. All right. Tammy, how's it going? I see a question coming in. We have David on. We have Shannon and Wrestling Lazy KGR, which is a funny thing I'll tell you guys about in a second. We have O2. All right. So a couple things. I know that David was on. Several other people were on the live training yesterday, which was really good. We had like awesome discussion, went through conversion improvement techniques. So that was really good. If you want to attend some of those live trainings, they are not on YouTube. Occasionally, I will publish them in the future on YouTube. Like I will publish them like pre-recorded. But the cool thing is it's off of the YouTube platform, and we can go a little bit more in depth, and I could go through slides, and it's just a little bit more serious. And we covered just one topic, and it's a lot more, it's a presentation. So anyway, we had great discussion on that yesterday. So if you want to attend some of those, they're usually on Thursdays. Although not on this coming Thursday because of Thanksgiving, but they're usually on Thursdays, and just keep an eye out on the channel. I try to announce them, so you can go follow the link and sign up and all that stuff. All right. A couple questions are already starting to come in here. So Alwyn says, after creating a new site, when is the right time to build links? Is it possible for Google to place your site in the sandbox if you start building links to the site too early? Not to my knowledge. I would say start as soon as you have time to. So I would say once you publish, 10 pieces of content, go ahead and start doing some link building activities. All right. Let's see. I'm trying to go through here. Okay. Raul says, do a lot of no-follow blog comments. Do they become harmful? You've done 100 no-follow links and only 10 do follow. Well, not to my knowledge. It shouldn't be an issue if you're doing manual comments, but you have a nice little data set there. So you tell me, is it harmful? I mean, I don't know why it would be. By the way, if I do, it looks like we have 6 likes, which is really good. Thanks to the folks that did give a thumbs up. But if you have the opportunity, if I answer your question, please hit the thumbs up. And if you're watching it later, leave a comment and all that good stuff. Or if you're watching it now and you have time to leave a comment later, do it. Okay. Charles says, you're from the UK. You're tuning in for the first time. What's up? You will just listen. It's your first webinar. You want to say you love my work and thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for hopping on. Feel free to ask questions if you have any. All right. Susan says you've been watching my videos today. It's so helpful. Fantastic. And yeah, the classic water jokes. So here's the story with the water, like for the people that don't know about the water joke. So someone left a comment a while back, and I need to look through a little bit, but someone left a comment a couple of weeks ago. They were like, hey, I love your content. Love what you're doing. It looks like you're dehydrated. You have a lot of wrinkles on your face, and you really should drink more water. That should clear them right up. Someone your age shouldn't have that many wrinkles, and you just look dehydrated. So that was his, I mean, talk about like a backhanded compliment, like good content. You do look old, but I mean, the fact is it's natural to have wrinkles at my age. Maybe I seem immature, but I'm actually at an age where I would have wrinkles, and that is normal. But the classic water jokes are fantastic. All right. So a couple questions I know were sent in, and I'm just going to hit those. I didn't write them in the description today. I didn't have time. But here's a question that I've seen before. It may even be in the FAQs, but I couldn't remember if it was or not. But basically, the question is this: the keyword golden ratio, which I think there's a link in the description. If you're not familiar with the keyword golden ratio, you'll have to do some other research here. But basically, if you find a keyword and the local monthly search volume is 0, what do you do? Because in the formula for the keyword golden ratio, you can't divide by 0. It's undefined. For all the math people out there, it's undefined. And what do you do? So basically, there's no like set thing to do. However, my rule of thumb is that I will publish content for something that has a 0 search volume if and only if it is a Google auto suggest, or if it is a Google related search, or the last one, if it's just a piece of content that seems relevant and a good idea. Would I create a whole site with just 0 search volume? No, that's stupid. Don't do that. If you have like 1 or 2 out of several this is probably okay. I'm talking like, couple percent. Basically, if you're trying to publish a bunch of content and you could see no one's searching for it, that's a bad idea unless you're trying to do some other thing that I don't know. Okay. Let me scroll to find where we're at here. Okay. So Andy, what's up? Andy P says the notifications are working on your end. And that is the interesting thing with YouTube. Even if you watch often and you participate and all that stuff, sometimes people don't get notifications. I'm not 100% sure the triggers and stuff. Okay. David says, you heard about Amazon having strict rules on how you can use their images. Yeah. So number one, go to the FAQ section. I talk about it. There's a whole question on images. So go read that, David. And then the other part is you can also go read like the terms of service on Amazon about images. You could just go read it. You can also ask questions to the Amazon Associate Support team. And then they have like chat, you can call in and you can send an email. All right. So those are like a few places to go first. Now the question is it safe to use EasyAzon? Well, at one point in time, it was safe to use EasyAzon. I don't know right now. I'm pretty sure EasyAzon downloads the images and then serves them from your site. So they pull it the first time from the API, but then after that, I think they may serve it from your site. So I'm not sure. I don't use EasyAzon, but it used to be really good back in the day, but I think it's sort of like fallen out of like being updated. All right. Next, we have, do I recommend building EDU links? So Alwyn, yeah, if you can get, I was actually thinking about this the other day. So if you're asking if you should build scholarship links, the answer is no, don't do that. If you're asking if you should build EDU links, sure, if you can. And I was thinking about, so I went to Georgia Tech and I was like, hey, I wonder if I contacted the school, the engineering school that I went to. And I was like, hey, I worked in consulting for a little while. Now I run my own business and, I can like talk about how they work together and why like the engineering background and the work now helps me run my business, stuff like that. And they have like an online newspaper or whatever. Like if I can get covered there, that would be awesome, right? That would be really good if I can get coverage because I'm doing something interesting. But if you're trying to build like scholarship links, bad idea. So take that for what it's worth. Okay. So I got some good questions rolling in here. Okay. It's a lot of fucking questions here. All right. Amp says you have a site with 25 product reviews and 25 info posts. The reviews rank higher, get more traffic, and monetize better. Should you focus your energy on product reviews or try and keep a healthy balance between money and info? I would keep a healthy balance. Lazy KGR. This guy here decided to use the KGR as his own branding, which is interesting. So you notice a trend in the related amount of something results on Google and KGR. Can I give hints? Can you rephrase your question? I don't understand. XX result, a trend. I don't understand the question there. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, Wrestling Empire says you launched your site 4 to 5 days ago and Google didn't index your site. You're really worried. You don't know if you did something wrong. Don't worry. It's only 4 or 5 days. What I recommend is you make sure, I don't know if you've registered your site with the Search Console, but if you do that, then you can make sure your site's indexed. So you probably didn't do anything wrong. 4 or 5 days is nothing, and I don't know how you're checking. My hunch is it could actually be indexed and you just don't know it. Um, okay, and Adrian is saying that Easy Azon pulls the images from the Amazon API. But Adrian, do you know if Easy Azon pulls it every time or if they download the images? Because back in the day when I did use it, it definitely downloaded the images and put it on my site. Raul says, what is the sandbox? Basically, it takes about 6 months for your site to really start ranking. Well, you can rank a little bit, you can get some traffic, but if you actually get past the 6 month period, you'll probably see your rankings improve. Some people say it's not real at all. Some people define the sandbox completely differently. But I believe there is an FAQ on that, so go read that. All right. Raul says, are done for you sites helpful? So I have a whole video on that and a whole blog post. If anyone happens to know the URL on Niche Site Project for that done for you site post, I did a roundup and I had people who make done for you sites. I think done for you sites are not very good for people that are getting started. I think you end up with a very expensive site that's not going to do anything and you don't know what to do. And then you need to get training on like what to do. For me, teaching people about how to like start a site and get traffic and content and all that stuff, usually people that buy a done for you site end up finding me and then getting into my training. So it's actually good for me business wise, but I think you think you're going to take a shortcut, but really you just end up with like a very expensive toy that you don't know what to do with. All right. What about the situation when you promote a product, you write an article, and after some time, it's not available on Amazon anymore? Do you unpublish the article? No, I just leave it. My thought is someone may still search for it, and then they still go to Amazon, and then the product's not there, and then they'll look for something else. But it's up to you. You can unpublish it if you want to. Marcus is on. What is going on? We have Gaz from the UK. Gaz says the KGR really works. Your first attempt at affiliate marketing, and it's ranking in the top 5 on page 1 for lots of its keywords. Cool. And Jared says, good to see me streaming. Awesome. Good to have you on. Echo says, would I suggest guest posting on a site with Right for Us? If you want to, I think that's a bad way to find guest posts because that's where everyone looks. But if you want to give it a shot, if it's really relevant, if you like the site, then go for it. And if people, if you can hit the thumbs up, that would be awesome, especially if I answer your question. So a couple things. I've been switching up my routine a little bit. I used to work out like in the early afternoon, but I have been working out in the morning. And it's great. I used to work out in the morning all the time. That's like just, I would wake up super early, go work out. But since we moved up here to Montana, my schedule sort of shifted a little bit. And I walk the dog in the morning, usually first thing. But it's been darker outside. The dog hasn't really wanted to walk as much in the morning. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just go out real quick, walk around the block just for a few minutes, and then head to the gym. And it's been awesome. Like I feel much better through the morning, and then the afternoon's kind of open. So sort of shifting that around, that's been a good thing so far. Michael says, what's up, Michael? I remember you sent me an email, but it takes, I ignore my email for a few days at a time and then batch it together. And there are just so many questions that are sent in, and it's really hard to keep up. And for so many of them, I've answered them like 1,000 times, and I just try to send people to the right post, but it's hard to keep up. It's really hard to keep up. Okay, Michael says, if you have a KGR that's below 0.25 and it's 6 in title, 6 all in title, how come when you take away all in title, there are millions of results, will I still be able to rank? Well, it's just how the commands work. So all in title tells you the number of posts indexed that have all the words in the title. But when you take away all in the title, it tells you like all the results that have any like those words or even a fraction of those words in the post anywhere. So all in title is a very very small subset of the rest of the results. So will you be able to rank? It depends. Probably. It's better if you have a low KGR, but sometimes it's not going to work out. Like sometimes, and we had guys say, "Hey, the KGR works," and dozens of other people say that it works. But if you pick a bad keyword, then you're not going to rank, right? If you pick a bad keyword, you're not going to rank. So you have to actually like find the KGR term, run the stats, make sure it fits, and then Google it and see what's out there. If you have to compete with like really huge sites and it's like, say, medical related, you're not going to be able to rank. Like you're just not going to. So you have to look and double check and make sure it's a good idea. And can you imagine yourself ranking for it? So, and I would say test it out. Like some keywords are going to work and some are not going to work well. All right. Next question we have. In Wrestling Empire, still, you're afraid you did something wrong. Everything takes a really long time. So just like be patient. You're like 4 or 5 days in. So just pump the brakes and be patient. All right. Shizor says, what's the best way to create backlinks? I like guest posting, and I suggest that you take a look at the FAQ section. There's a whole thing on guest posting, and there's like probably 30 videos on like backlinks and stuff on my channel. So just type in whatever question you want in the search bar on my channel and then start watching videos. David says, what's the average percentage of people that arrive on your site that click on Amazon, click on the buttons? I think it's a range, right? So if I tell you this, it may not be relevant. About 40%. What percentage of that traffic actually buys a product? About 12%. Greta, okay. Greta and Adrian having a connection there. That's great. Okay, Son of Night says, bro, when should I apply for Amazon for affiliate after index my niche website? Okay. I would say you can apply right away if you would like to. So after you launch, that's cool. Apply for it. Or if you want to wait until you start getting some traffic, that's fine too. Either one seems fine. Alwyn says, have I ever considered buying a site before? Yes, I have considered it. Oh, and Furhan coming through. There's a link in the description to Niche Site Project. That's where I blog. And there's a debate on whether a done-for-you site is better or building a site yourself. And I'll just tell you my quick punchline. The only time I think a done-for-you site is a good idea is if you already know how to build a site from scratch and all the moving pieces. The issue is when you buy a site that's created, you don't know how to potentially, right? Could be a little bit wrong, but there's like sort of 8 moving pieces or something like that. I just made up 8. So let's see if I can come up with several. So you have to understand how to do keyword research. You have to understand how to write the content. You have to understand how to potentially hire people to write the content. You have to understand how to edit. We're up to, that's 4. 5, you have to understand how to promote the website. Number 7, you have to figure out how to get some backlinks and rank. And then number 8, you have to understand how to iterate on your site and improve it. That's awesome. I came up with 8, I think, if I counted right. But if you buy a done for you site, basically there's at least 8 things, probably more, that you don't know how to do. And even if you've built a site before, let's say you're a web designer and you understand the tech side of it, well, you still have like 4 things that you don't know how to do. Or if you're an SEO, right? I have a lot of students who either they're SEOs or they run agencies or they've been in the industry for like some small portion of it, but they don't know the affiliate marketing side of it. So basically, if you buy a done for you site, you end up with, a fancy car that you don't know how to drive. And you can get some training on it, but at the end of the day, you thought you were going to take a shortcut, but then you just have like a car that you're going to, spin out and you don't know how to drive a manual transmission or something. Good analogy, right? You guys got that? So, if you know how to like do everything, then you could, have a team build it up. But if you actually know what you need to do, then you could probably like hire a couple people and have that done pretty quickly and cheaply, just in general. So that's sort of my take on it. But the other thing I know is that people love the idea of skipping some of the steps, and people love to buy these sites. So I recommend a couple companies because people don't listen to me and they want to buy a site anyway. So, yeah. Okay. Good old auto 24/7 here says, can we make an ecosystem of affiliate niche sites where content writers write articles and add its own affiliate link, earn money? Yes. I don't know if I'm following what you're describing, but you can do, it's wonderful. You can do whatever you want. Okay. The Sun says, how many times can you use the primary keyword in 2,000 words of an article or 2,000 word article? It depends on how long the keyword phrase is. All right. So there's a lot of other details involved. That's a well-phrased question. I compliment you on that. I'm just going to say if it's a short phrase, let's say your keyword is 1 word long, you probably use it like, I don't know, 2.5%, 3%, 3.5%, something like that. If it's like 5 words long or longer, I would use it like twice. So there's a lot of sort of caveats in there, but less is more generally. All right. Don't forget, everyone, hit the thumbs up. And if you have the ability, it looks like there's a decent crew from the 5-Figure Niche Site course. Thanks, folks that hopped on. But if you have the ability to share it with our Facebook group, that would be cool. I didn't have time to today, but if you have a chance. Okay. Elliot says, anyone have success answering questions on Quora and linking back to your article? So a lot of people have done that. Alwyn does say that Quora will block you because they'll think you're spamming. But I mean, I think there's some discussion in here. Wrestling Empire says it does work. That's your primary. Okay, hold on, guys. Wrestling Empire, are you the one that was just asking about launching your first site? Okay, Wrestling Empire, you're you're on a lot of the live streams, so I think this is a good discussion. So what we have here, so Wrestling Empire said, I launched my first site. It's been 4 days. I'm a little scared about indexing, but then Wrestling Empire was dispensing advice about how to do link building, which seems like incongruent, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I'm busting your balls here and I shouldn't. Sorry. But I mean, come on. If you're just starting, and this is how the internet is, it's difficult to know what to believe because sometimes you get advice from someone who isn't at that point in the process yet. So, however, I think your answer is fine. You write real and helpful answers in Quora, link back to your site. That seems reasonable, but we have to remember, right? Am I crazy? Wrestling Empire, come on. You're on here a lot. So I feel like we know each other a little bit. Like, that's strange, right? Okay. Moving on. Farouk says KGR is amazing. You've ranked some blogs using the same method and you silo with a KGR. Great. Adrian says KGR works. Fantastic. O2 says with a KGR, you went for a keyword with a search volume of 10 and ranked number 1. Like, is that it? Or as time, can you rank for other keywords related to it as a higher search volume? It's the latter. Yeah, you can rank for other stuff. Okay. I've been trying to cut back on coffee a little bit because I get to the point where I drink a lot of coffee. I'll make like a pot, do a little pour over in the morning. My wife has a cup, and then I have maybe like 3. But there is a stretch where I would just drink a ton and maybe have another in the afternoon. And then I was like, well, my breath smells terrible. Anyone know this coffee breath when you just drink too much of it? It's not good. It's even bad to you. Like it, and I'm like, man, what did I eat? It's terrible. So anyway, I'm cutting back, I'm drinking like a cup and a half. I'm drinking a lot more tea. Got the chai tea going on here. But I feel a little less anxious too, which makes sense because, I make the coffee pretty strong, pumping myself full of caffeine and all that stuff. So tea's been good. And it's nice. It's cool here in Montana in the fall and winter time. So it's nice even in the afternoon to have, a warm cup of something. All right. Marcus says you have some product and product KGR post ranking well, and it's bringing in some money. Awesome. You can recommend them, and you've heard positive from other people, including Doug. Fantastic. Ray says, my traffic has grown tremendously from the start of the month, about 300%. Great. You already booted out of the Amazon affiliate program. You reapplied, but you can't get past the phone verification. Any tips to get accepted? Well, I've never I don't know what the phone verification process, I'm not 100% sure what the issue is there, but if you have a site that is following the rules, then you should be accepted. So I would contact Amazon and ask them why you weren't accepted. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure where you're located. It sounds like there's a lot of other background information behind your question. All right. And feel free to add more details. Maybe there's someone in the audience that actually knows the answer. That may have dealt with something like that. I'm located in the US. I had no issues being verified or anything like that. Okay. World Market says my videos are so helpful. Thanks. Your question is, do I use the KGR to create the title? The answer is yes. And then have your content tailor the article. Have your content tailor the article to the title. Yes, that is exactly right. That's 100%. Okay. Quick note. So I think I mentioned several of the links in the description, but I know we have a lot more people on now. So I just want to point out there's an FAQ section. So if you're generally new or even if you're experienced, I recommend just go to the FAQ page after the video, have a quick look, even if it's something that you kind of already know the answer to. There may be some extra points in there and it's worthwhile to have a look. And there may just be other things that people have asked that I answer that you didn't even think of, but it could give you some insight. I have a productivity course for the people that don't know. I have a former life of project management and management consulting where I did a lot of organizational type things, and I created a bunch of templates and all that stuff. If you're interested in being more productive, that course is something you should check out. Additionally, the niche site process, if you're just new, if you are you don't know what to do in the process or how the process works, take a look at that. I start at a high level and then go through each step of the process. There's a couple playlists on the KGR. So the masterclass and the success stories, both very popular. And the other thing, the thing that made me remember to go over these is I actually do some one-on-one coaching, not a ton, but some one-on-one coaching if and only if I can actually help you with whatever issue you're facing. But I had a coaching session with someone earlier this week, and she was like, I watched the KGR masterclass and it was so helpful. It gave so much information. And like, thanks for doing that. And the session was super helpful. The thing is, when we're in this setting, I can't really look at your site or answer things very thoroughly or go deeper. So for example, Ray was having some issues getting accepted into the program, but I can't really give him good advice because we can only go like just the very top surface of any question here. In the one-on-one session, I can like pull reports from SEMrush, Ahrefs. I can look at your analytics. I can like dive in and say, hey, look, you didn't know this content is ranking really well, better than all your other content. And it's getting more traffic. People are staying on it. You need to write more content around this topic and, add some more interlinks on your site. And by the way, like have a look at adding a call to action here because you don't have anything in this whole area. So that's why one-on-one coaching is very valuable. All right. Per something says, your question is, if you search a phrase, best vintage alarm clock, and the first page shows irrelevant results, is it easy to rank even if the all-in title is many? Potentially. Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And the KGR is one tool in the toolbox, and there's many other tools. And one of them is to see like, hey, are these results helping the searcher? And if not, then I would say there's an opportunity there. There's the KGR is an easy way to find things like that. But if you just, search for stuff and you find those keywords naturally, that's great. The numbers for the KGR don't have to back it up if you're using some other method to find those. Okay. What do we got here? I lost my spot. See the chat window, it like jumps around sometimes. So I lose my spot. Okay, so Jared says, have I ever thought about making blogs solely to sell guest posts on? No, I haven't. What you'll end up with is a private blog network, and then it's not going to be, there'll be a footprint, and then everyone will get penalized. So actually, I have thought of that, and I did that before, and it's a bad idea. But other people, you can make a lot of money doing that kind of stuff, though. Oh, and Andy, great insight here. Andy P says the KGR works in your experience, but having the LMS at 250 or less is definitely a factor. It's literally part of the formula and part of the criteria. So you've had it work for some higher volumes, but it's easier if you stick to low volumes at first. Yes, exactly. And if you have an established blog, you could pretty much you have a flexible range of what you could work with. All right. Alwyn says, when creating backlinks, do I recommend building the links to all articles or just focus on the links with the most search traffic? I don't recommend building links to all your articles. There's other ways to decide where you're going to link build, but I don't recommend all your articles. All right. Oh, Duke's on. What's up? Thanks to all the moderators. Those are the people in blue. Keep in order. They're in the chat room. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it. There was a stretch where we had a lot of trolls on, and it was quite necessary, but I think they found other areas of the internet to spend their time. Alwyn says, is there a service available for creating info products for a site? I don't know of one specifically, but I'm sure that you can find someone to do that. All right, Hamad, what's going on? Good Vibe says, do I use a web developer? No. All right. Hamid says, the KGR works, but you need to be consistency, what I believe. Okay, cool. All right. God says you managed to rank highly using the KGR, no backlinking, purely organic. Good to go. Oh yeah, Marcus talks about the coffee breath. Adrian is saying people want to take my throne. Yeah, and I believe. All right, this is a decent story. Basically, I think Lazy KGR was taking the KGR and adding some other ideas or other tools, and just overall um, trying to do some videos on the KGR, which was interesting, especially for me because I mean, I was in these chat rooms just like you guys. I was reading other blogs, trying to learn just like everyone here, and now for someone to copy what I'm doing is super interesting because I'm just like, all right, go for it. Do what you can. Okay. Echo says, how does someone get a Skype call with you? You just want to talk to the legend. Echo, all you have to do is pay me $250. That's all. So, and there's actually people in here. It's expensive, right? Because I mean, I'm working, right? So it's working. So I think a few people have done sessions with me, and feel free to write if the sessions were good or bad, whatever your opinion is. But yeah, I can go through and like audit and check things out for you. Okay. Krill says, hey, Dougie, I started a website 2 weeks ago. You're already getting impressions on the KGR, and it's ranking on the 3rd page. Awesome. Kick ass. It's great. Keep at it. And I mean, you're only 2 weeks in. Okay. Couple other questions coming through. And I was going to say, so I mentioned it in the session yesterday again. I do like webinars on Thursday, so keep an eye out when I announce those. You can sign up; they're a little more in depth. But yesterday I mentioned I started a site in the last month or so, and sure enough, I mean I haven't started a new one in a while, but basically, like there were I published maybe like 20 posts to get started, and there are a handful of posts ranking in the top 15 or so. Brand new site, like barely indexed, and the ranking, getting a few impressions. I mean, it's not making any sales yet, but it's pretty cool just to see like brand new site, nothing, no links, no link building at all, and it's so young and already ranking a little bit. Okay. So it's possible. And I know occasionally we get a question. It's like, hey, I've been working on my site for a year. I have 100 posts. I have no traffic. And there's an issue, right? There's some problem somewhere. There's a lot of places to make mistakes. And if you've been working on it for that long, there's some problem somewhere. Okay. Izzy, what's going on? Andy says, coffee is the nectar of the gods. Indeed. You do cold press. It doesn't get as cold in New South Wales. Yeah. The cold press is quite good, but yeah, I haven't taken that route yet. Izzy says, how important is the correct grammar when it comes to the niche site? Funny. So basically, I would say it's important. Use Grammarly. It's free, or you could sign up for like the premium version. It'll clean up your writing a lot. All right. I do not know. Yeah, the chat window just jumps around like crazy. Okay, so try and use correct grammar. In fact, I have done some work where, hey, Georgie, you want to come in here, girl? Hey, jump up. Come here. So I've done some work where I've just gone to post and fixed up the grammar, fixed misspelled words and stuff like that. And it moved up in ranking. So I would say it's important. Go for it. Okay. And we do have a few students in here. So that's cool. It's good to have the students on. Charles said, I answered a question via email about putting a linking article with no affiliate links and another to your own website, which has affiliate links. Oh, Charles, thanks for reminding me to expand on the answer. Well, I don't remember what I wrote. Okay, so the question is putting a linking article with no affiliate links to another on your site, which has affiliate links. So that's fine. If you want to put the full question in, and then I can sort of revisit, maybe I can get back in that mindset, because I don't remember. And whatever you just wrote here, I think, hey, that's good. I don't know what else to expand on. Duke says you use Grammarly on all your articles and it's anecdotal, but you received a small boost afterwards. Indeed. And I saw the same thing. So go do that. Even like misplaced commas or, if you have a lot of content like Duke and I do, you're going to have some misspelled words and some little issues throughout. Cola says, Kulu, something like that. Where do I find the KGR Master Course? There's a link in the description, or you could just Google or go to YouTube in the search bar and just type in keyword golden ratio masterclass, and then it'll come up. And it's like an hour and a half of content. It's free. Most of the niche websites have a lot of grammatical errors. Kindly through some light. Okay. Yeah. Okay, Charles says to remind me. I said yes, but only one link. Okay, maybe put the whole question in there and something like that. Okay, Good Vibe says, so you're talking to someone else. Okay, this is funny to go through these. And I recommend for Grammarly, I recommend just start with the free version, check it out and use it a little bit, and it'll get the most critical issues like taken care of. It works within WordPress. They have a part of it. They just added this and it now works with Google Docs, which is awesome. That's where I usually do a lot of work. And that's how I have my writers submit content. And for Grammarly Premium, it goes a little bit further. So like it'll help you like write more clearly and like take out words that are unnecessary. And it probably like helps the reader enjoy the content a little bit more because it takes out some of the fluff. It helps you write more clearly, and usually that is more concise and like punchier, and people will probably read the content. It's more likely, I think. Oh, right. And if you haven't given a thumbs up, would definitely appreciate it to help other people find the video later. David says, do I use latent semantic keywords? No, not specifically, but I believe it happens naturally, but I don't have anything specific that I use. Ray says, so Ray was having trouble getting approved for the Amazon affiliate program. And Ray says, I am not a US citizen. When I first applied, phone verification process went smoothly, but when you reapplied, you can't receive the phone verification code. So, and I don't see anything else listed here. I don't know what to tell you. So I think, Ray, you just have, it's a problem to solve, right? So you can't get the verification code. So figure out how to get the verification code. I don't know the process there, but you can contact the support with the affiliate program, right? And then figure out what you have to do. So just a problem to solve, it sounds like. Andy P says you have bloody big fingers, something to improve the site. Okay, it's 4:40 a.m. Holy cow. Like the next day? It's like tomorrow. All right. Izzy says, for a niche like soundproofing, what should be the minimum number of articles? Request other chat members to also throw light on it. So I think, number one, I think it's hilarious that Izzy was asking about grammar and stuff, but got to be honest, the grammar in your question is a little rough, And what's the minimum number of articles? My answer is 10. Check out the FAQ section on that. You could add as much content as you want. I don't know anything about soundproofing, but I would highly recommend you maybe brand it a little bit more broadly. I don't know if you have the opportunity to now, but soundproofing has a particular audience, right? But that audience is also interested in many other things like microphones or audio equipment, stuff like that. So maybe go like one level up, and then you have a lot more products you can work with. Doug, I found keywords that pass the KGR, but then you were doing a global search. Should I still try them out? I would follow the formula. So do it again. Wrestling Empire says, Doug, you were right. You just checked on Google and they indexed your site. Cool. And you checked your stats, you're already ranking for. Excellent. That's fantastic. David says, how do you do siloing? How many interlinks should an article have on average? David, there's a whole blog post that's very long on Niche Site Project. So David, just go read that. I don't recommend you do siloing, by the way. It's a huge pain in the ass. How many interlinks should an article have on average? It depends, but I usually throw out 2 to 5. 2 to 5 or more. Okay, Adrian says, if you want to go on private sessions with Doug, go ahead, but make sure you know what you want him to help you with. Otherwise, it'll just be an expensive hour. That is true. That's true. But I ask for that ahead of time. I'm like, send me what your questions are, and then I can prepare ahead of time. So I usually invest like an hour ahead of time before we even talk and do research. So when we come to the meeting, it's mostly like follow up, like here's what I think. You ask questions. Sometimes you need like a broad overview. Some people hire me to basically get a concise version of how to do link building, for example. And then I could say, here's what I recommend for your site, and can just give you specific instructions. All right. And Duke says, you're a grammar moron. You didn't realize it until you started using Grammarly. There's so many grammar rules. But, in the simple writing is usually easier. And it's usually easier to write and easier to read. But commas and stuff, they get you. All right. Steven says, you were thinking of starting a house flipping site. You've flipped houses before. Too competitive? No clue. Never looked at it. But I would say you probably have to like be an expert in it to have like the authority for people to follow you and actually believe what you're writing. All right. Hi. What's going on? Michael says you would like to hire a writer or two to start producing content. Is it necessary to create an outline for them with resources, or are they capable of doing this on their own? Okay. Michael, so I have several videos and a bunch of blog posts on content, but you're the boss, Michael. If you want to like give them an outline and give them resources, you can. If you want them to do the research yourself or themselves, then you just say, hey, do the research, write an outline, blah, blah, blah. However, I will tell you, the more information you provide for them, the better the content is going to be. So if you just say, hey, write an article with this title, you don't know what you're going to end up with. If you don't care that much, that's fine. But a lot of times, if you don't give someone like really specific instructions, you're going to end up with like some random stuff. Some of those videos that I mentioned and some of the blog posts where I give you my templates and stuff, Michael, I give you all the templates and I go through like how to outline. And yeah, if you give them references, it's going to turn out better. Duke has some celebration here. So Duke says his site hit 800 visitors yesterday, 100 from Pinterest, and you started focusing on Pinterest in August. Pretty cool. Nice. How much do I pay per word to my writers? Have I hired them on Upwork? Usually about 2 cents a word, roughly, something like that. Have I hired them on Upwork? The answer is yes. And we're starting to get to the point where we're asking the same questions that I just answered like 1 minute ago. So let's get some fresh questions in here. Exclusive. How many content need to rank a Amazon niche site? Go to the FAQ section, read some of the answers there. I'm not 100% sure what you are really asking. So how much content do you need to rank? You can write one post and rank one post. I'm just being very literal because this is a bad question. If you just want to rank an Amazon site, you can literally write one post and you could rank that term for certain keywords, right? That's not the best way to do it. And I really don't know what you're asking. I would recommend you launch with 10 posts, which I talk about in the FAQ. And I would recommend that they're at least 1,000 words a piece and then grow from there. All right. Furhan says, you were reading about a nice looking plugin with a clickable links on the image is around Instagram. Interesting there. Yeah, basically it's hard to get a direct link into Instagram. You have to do some other stuff to get people on there. WorldMart says, would I recommend creating a site using a WordPress theme from ThemeForest or from scratch? So I don't recommend you start it from scratch, and you don't have to get it from ThemeForest. In fact, I wrote an FAQ answer to the question about themes. So you could really use almost any theme, and I recommend you take a look. I make some recommendations in the post, but don't create a theme from scratch. There's no need to do that. All right. David says, would using an exact match domain help with SEO? Let's say blah, blah, blah. Is it beneficial? EMDs are ugly. It could potentially help a little bit, but I don't recommend that you do that. So the reason why it can be helpful, I'll go deeper into this question here. So the reason why it can be helpful is probably a lot of your links are going to go to your homepage with the brandable text, right? Like the brandable name of your site. So let's say it's niche site project, for example, niche site project, and you get a bunch of links to your site and it's like niche site project is the anchor text. That's good, right? It builds relevancy around the brand, but it's also a term that people may search for, right? So that's good. But it kind of it ties you in. So if you're doing this crossbow thing for your example, then crossbow.com would probably be good. If you are trying to be too specific though, and you're like best ballpoint pen for journaling.com, that's kind of a bad one. So don't do that. And just in general, I would recommend going for a brandable domain that's not like, you're not trying to be tricky, David. Okay. EB says, with an affiliate link, you said make it obvious with a call to action, like to buy item mentioned, click here. But if it's informational, that should flow well. That's not awkward other ways. Well, if it's an informational article, then so you're asking for other ways. I mean, you can not put an affiliate link in there. You can rephrase it, right? So I give you like an idea, and feel free to change it. So if you want to write something else, you could change that anchor text. You could do really whatever you want. Put in your own words, make it your own style, make it fit with the rest of the post. If you don't want to mention any products in there because it's not relevant, then you don't have to. But if you want to, you can. Grant says, if you're getting 20 to 50 visitors a day over the last few months and you've added a handful of new articles, does that sound normal, or should my traffic have jumped a bit? I'm not sure, Grant, with the amount of information that you've given me there, but I would look on your Google Analytics and I would look at behavior, and then I would look at your site content and then see if you're getting like a little spread of traffic, like 1 or 2 visits to the new post. Sometimes it can take a few months for articles to start ranking in the top 5 or top 10. And then once they do, then you'll probably start getting more traffic. So it can be normal. I wouldn't be alarmed if you are, if some of those posts are still like under 2 months old. Izzy says, how many niche websites am I planning to start in 2019? Hopefully 0. Adrian says, any CRO tips? You have 19 posts in the top 3, making almost $200 a month with 100 visitors per, say, month, but I think you mean per day. You have a feeling you could make more than that with 100 visitors per month. So I did a presentation yesterday with like 17 different ideas for CRO, and basically you need more traffic. So that's great and everything, but you're like trying to squeeze, let's say, all right, Adrian, let's say I can improve your conversion rate by a couple percent, right? Let's say I can improve it by like 10%. It's probably only going to be like $5 more a month. Like you just need more traffic. So does that make sense, Adrian? So if you don't have enough traffic, even if you increase it by 50%, it's not that much. So time is better spent elsewhere. Okay, Mike says, hey everyone, my site is 7 months old, and last month you hit 1,000 in the month, and you're addicted to looking at your website earnings and traffic every minute. Is that normal? Yep, 100% normal. Mike, are you a student? And are you using the KGR? If so, shoot me an email. There's a lot of mics out there, so, not sure if you're in the course or not. All right, a lot of discussion here, going back and forth. Depeche, what's going on? Jaron says, even at $100 per day, which I assume is what you meant, that's good monetization. Oh, 100 visitors per day. Yep, I assume that too. Andy says, you may have a problem, Mike. I think we need a support group or intervention. Yeah, it's very addictive to like check your stats all the time, especially this time of year. I mean, everyone is like, you're checking your stats, you're checking your earnings each day. Next week should be crazy. So cool thing, and I should have mentioned this before. So Adrian, hopefully that made sense. But next Monday, I'm publishing a post on like doing some optimization for the retail season. So it doesn't apply. I'm going to give like 8 tips, I think. It doesn't apply for like the full year, but there's a few things, like a handful, that you may be able to do in the like next week, where it may help your click-through rate on the SERPs, which is important. So that may help some of your just rankings on a short-term level in a fast way. Okay. So hopefully that was helpful, Adrian. Let's see if I have any other questions that were out there, just looking around. And I have been posting, by the way, I have been posting on the community tab for the channel. And hopefully people are seeing some of those. It doesn't look like there's much interaction. I actually read those for other channels that I follow fairly often, but I wasn't sure like if people would pay much attention to what I'm posting on my community tab. So there's a handful of people. The reason why I'm mentioning this is I often announce these sessions and then call for questions because that's helpful if I have some questions in the queue. And what I'm looking at now is there's comments right on my dashboard here, and I can just see I can sort by like anything containing a question, which is helpful. So, and I know Michael was on, but Michael asked on one of my Tuesday teardown type videos, he says, I appreciate all the details here, but is it possible to review a normal site? What I mean is like a fairly new site that's monetized, but not as well built or advanced as some of the popular examples. I'm a beginner and I want to see something attainable that I can mimic to get traction. So Michael, that's a great question. And what I said is no. I said no because basically it's not a professional move. All right. So any of the sites that I do a teardown on, they're a public site in some fashion. They're a public site in some fashion. Either they're a huge site, a big company that people already know about, like the Wirecutter, Outdoor Gear Lab, or it's a site that was like a public case study or something of the sort. What I said to Michael is no, because I don't want to out someone's site. So, I mean, I make money from my sites, and that's why I don't talk about it. Any public case study or anything mentioned like creates a ton of copycats out there and negative SEO. So any case study that you've seen out there probably has like some screwed up part to it because a bunch of people were trying to mess with it. So that's why I don't do it. I could go out and find 100 sites that are just what Michael would want to see, but then I would be like cursing each one of those sites and their owners who have put dozens of hours and hundreds or thousands of dollars into it, and it just sucks, right? Like that would be terrible. So that is why I'm respectful of like people in the community, because I'm in the community myself. And that is why I don't do it. Okay. And a couple people, I mentioned Gutenberg on the last live stream, which is like the new interface for WordPress, the WordPress editor. The things that it has like built in are like buttons. You can add tables, right? All built in from the WordPress editor. And I played around with the beta version for the last several months. And then finally I took it off because I was making a bunch of changes, like doing some stuff on a new site. And I was like, this sucks. I need to just hit the HTML and like make some edits here. But some of the wise people in the comments section said, hey, Gutenberg's coming out in like 2 weeks. So who's played around with Gutenberg? Generally, I didn't have any major issues with it. It was just like a couple times when I was editing some HTML, it was like a few extra keystrokes or a few extra clicks to do things. And I wasn't 100% sure how to use some of the keyboard shortcuts yet. So I was like, I just got to get out of this. I don't normally edit a ton, but I just happened to be. So Gutenberg's coming out, and it's going to be like, everyone's going to be using it, right? They're going to push it out as the main editor. Elliot says, Doug, I need your advice on getting product reviews on Upwork. Your account was suspended because you posted a job asking for an Amazon affiliate review. Is there any way to get around this? I guess you have to create a new account. I had issues at some point, and I think I literally wrote a blog post like a couple days ago about not using Amazon or saying review or anything in your Upwork job posting because it's going to get flagged. And I like went back and forth with their support team, and they were like, nope, you violated the terms and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what word did I use that's a problem? And they were morons, to be honest. They were terrible. I was like trying to reason with them, and they couldn't answer my question ever. So I don't know how to get around it. You'll probably have to work with the support team. Vimmel says, if I'm going to buy an informative article, do I need a 4 to 5 star writer to rank? No, not necessarily. There's a lot of factors in play. So if you have a 4 or 5 star writer, but your keyword research sucks, not you personally, but if your keyword research is not on point, then it doesn't matter if you have a really good writer write it. However, if you have terrible writing and the keyword research is really good and you have a bunch of backlinks, well, then you could probably rank even if it's poorly written. So it's not the only factor. Hopefully that was helpful. Depeche says, you've been running a site for 7 months. When you submit a link to Google, post gets immediately indexed and others don't. Mostly it's affiliate content that doesn't get posted. Why is that? Any idea? Well, it sounds like it's because it's affiliate content based on what you've told me in the question. I would maybe think about the number of affiliate links you have in there. All right. Thomas says, quick update. You have 8 sales this month and you're on pace for 1,500 uniques this month using my methods. Fantastic. Thank you. Everyone, I should do a better job like compiling these chat sessions. And when people are like, hey, I did this and I owe it all to you. But I don't do a great job. I kind of rely on you guys to do that, but that's not really working super well. But I do know, like Adrian, for example, posted a couple Facebook groups and just says, hey, Doug, like been doing some stuff. It's awesome. So thanks, Adrian. I do appreciate that. And if you share stuff and you let me know, I'll give you a little shout out like I did here with Adrian, which is cool. So Hasib, what's up? Hi. You get 10 to 40 views a day and you're getting $50 a month. Great. Mike says, you'll shoot me an email after the final exam this month. You're getting done with college. Great. That's awesome. Would love to hear the story. And Duke says, Upwork was too anal for you. You don't use them. And so what I found is the way I post for work on Upwork is just asking for a blog writer, and I avoid certain words. And then once I hire them in words like review, words like Amazon, those seem to be the only ones. After that, I'll just provide the information afterwards. And that way, I think I've been able to stay clear and I hire everyone from Upwork. So there's tons of other places to hire people, though. Okay, Hasib says, what would I suggest to increase traffic? I put a lot of informational, a lot of buyer keywords. How much, what do you think, how much estimate monthly page views to earn at least $1,000 per month? So you can add, for getting more traffic, you need to improve your rankings for your existing content, or you could publish new content. You should probably do both. You can improve your rankings by getting backlinks and providing like high quality content. How much traffic to make $1,000 per month? Well, it's a wide range. I would say around maybe 250 to like 800 visitors a day. Very wide range, but you need a few hundred people on your site per day going to the buyer related articles. So that's kind of important. So if you have like 800 visitors going to informational content, they're not going to convert as well. You need some visitors on that, on the buyer's content. And it depends on, how much the products are. People buy other stuff, so that's fine. But, most of the time they're going to be buying something kind of related to whatever your niche is. Okay. And we have 34 likes, and there's at least 47 people on right now. We've had dozens of others on. So if you have the opportunity to hit the thumbs up, I hear on the mobile version, which I use the mobile version mostly. I think if you hide the chat just for a second, then you can hit like. So it'd be cool if we get up to 40 here in the next couple minutes. And just say in the chat, if you are giving the thumbs up, I'll give you a little shout out and answer your question. AT Reviews says, after posting a KGR post, it appears in 10 minutes in the top 30. That's great. How long will it take to get to page 1? So it can take 6 months, or maybe 6 days. So I don't know. It depends. Okay, EBVid says, you'd never use one of those plugins that puts Amazon items in the cart automatically to prolong the cookie duration, I'm assuming. That's correct. I think it's a terrible user experience. One is called EasyAzon. Yeah, there's a call for the API. So I think it's like a 90-day cookie, but I think it's a terrible user experience. So I never do it. And then the other issue is, I believe it's only for that item. So I would avoid that. And people selling those tools will say, oh, you get a 90-day cookie, blah, blah, blah. Like it's some fucking magic thing. It's just a bad user experience. So I would avoid it. Okay, Adrian says, was awesome to hang out today. I'm off to enjoy a delicious burger. Awesome, Adrian. Good to have you on. Have a great weekend. Oh, and Hi is liking the video now. Awesome. We got up to 43. Great. It's the wrong feedback for me because it makes me beg for the likes, and I guess more people watch it then. That's what everyone says, right? Hasib says you're making $10 with 150 page views per month in the shaving niche. Great. That actually sounds, well, I'm like $10 per month with 150 page views per month. So you're only getting a visitor every couple days, sounds like. So that's pretty good. Yeah. Splosh Marketing. Hey, what's up? It's been a while. David says, you wish you could leave more than one like since I answered a lot of your questions and each one was very helpful. Thanks, David. Appreciate it. And what you can do, right? So if you're thinking, hey, I want to help Doug somehow, one, you could buy like the productivity course. It's $100. It's cheaper than some of the other stuff out there. But and there's refund policies. So if you really want to help out, you can buy that. If you don't have any money, or you don't want to give me any money, that's cool. I understand. You could also like other videos and just leave comments. So I think leaving comments is helpful. Other people just leave, hey, this is a cool video. Hey, Doug, just leaving a comment because you said to leave a comment. That could be a funny one. In fact, if you leave some comments and you say, hey, I'm leaving a comment because you said to leave a comment, I will do my best to find those comments and give you a shout out on the next live stream next week. Couple cool videos coming up. I asked a few weeks ago on the community tab if people were struggling more with content or link building or something else. And it was even. It was like 47, 48% for content and link building. So pretty much a dead heat. And then there was 5% left where it was something else. For the something else questions that popped up, I answered them in 2 different Q&A videos, which I think I'm going to publish one next week and then one the following week. But if you ask the questions, I'm like showing your name, like, Pastor Duke Tabor asked this question and I display it. So I give you a little shout out. So do ask questions, especially in the community tab when I make a call for it. All right. Splosh says, would I still advise people to go into health niche considering EAT update and all? So your question is making the assumption that I gave advice to people to enter the health niche. And I've never done that. I don't think you meant it. by the way. But I've never advised people to go into a specific niche, especially not health. In fact, I would say, hey, I would maybe stay out of the health or blah, blah, blah. So I've never given that advice. Would I still tell people to go into it? The answer is no. I never have before. I would say if you have a compelling reason, let's say you're a physical trainer, sure, do it. If you have no credentials, if you don't know what you're talking about, and if you don't care about the topic or whatever, then no. There's a lot of other stuff that you can get into. All right. Vimmel says, where can I get /buy royalty-free images because some of the products are not available in your local stores? So go to the FAQ section. There's a whole section on images. If you're talking about getting images of the products that are royalty-free, I don't know. You probably have to, check with the manufacturers or people that own the product. So I don't know of a place where you can get product images for specific products in a royalty-free fashion. Don't know. If anyone knows, you can write it in here. All right. Mike says, last month you averaged 230 daily visitors and you made it to 1K. Doug is right there. There are a lot of variables that come into play. Cool. That's awesome to have my ramblings validated with real data, and I just guessed. All right, Sean says KGR works. What's up, Sean? Several page 2 rankings right now. The fastest was 12 minutes to page 1. There you go. So it could be as short as 12 minutes or as long as never. All right. So where is the productivity course located? So if you scroll down in the description, so if you're on mobile, you may have to hide the chat for a second, and then you can get to the productivity course there. Grant says, do I prefer filtered or tap water? Usually filtered. Tap water, though, here in Montana, it's pretty good. It's really good water. Atlanta also has really good water. And Grant's saying you're a reverse osmosis kind of guy, although once in a while you feel crazy and you opt for the tap water. See, the thing is with the reverse, you didn't know this, but I know a lot about water. So let's talk about that. So with a reverse osmosis, I mean, it's devoid of minerals. Like it's like distilled water. And I would say you need some of those minerals, right? Like what? I don't know. And the reason why I know a lot about water is because I brew beer, and water is important. It's like one of the main ingredients in beer, along with, barley and yeast. Got some hops in there too. Maybe some sugar if you're making a Belgian. But with the water here in Montana, also in Atlanta, it's very soft water in general, especially Atlanta. There's almost like no minerals, very little in there. And when you're brewing different styles, it's not like required, but if you're brewing like a Pilsner, right? A Pilsen out of like the Pilsen area, right? They have super soft water, and it reacts a certain way with the malt and the hops to give you a certain impression. And versus like if you were making a British IPA or something like that, that's like highly like carbonated. So there's a lot of like hardness in that water. It's minerally. The hops are going to be a little more aggressive in there. So the point is, I usually drink the filtered water just to get out the chlorine and anything else. But right out of the tap, it's pretty darn good. And when I brew beer, I just run it through a filter to get the chlorine out. The chlorine doesn't play, or the chloramine doesn't play well. Am I losing a bunch of people here, or are you sticking around for this beer talk? So the chlorine doesn't play well with the yeast. You end up with a rubbery flavor at the end of the day. So the water here is pretty good, but you just want to get that chlorine out. If you don't run it through a filter, you can just run the water into your kettle and let it sit overnight, and the chlorine will dissipate. Other companies will use the chloramine, and then you have to use Camden tablets to get that out. Okay. And Sharon likes the sarcasm. It is a particular flavor that we have here. Yeah. Okay. So Hasib is saying you want to take it to the next level. You decide to just focus on one site and make it the best site in shaving. What would I suggest? Well, you should go analyze the other sites that are the best right now and then figure out how to do better than them. So it's a whole thing. You have to look at the content, you have to look at everything. Content, backlinks, the social presence, all that stuff, and then that's what you would have to do. All right. Fat Loss Planner says your site gets 30,000 visitors a month. It's monetized by AdSense, but it's not making a lot. It's in the weight loss niche. Any advice? Get more traffic. Maybe you could look for specific affiliate offers and go from there. Potentially, if you have a lot of, you're getting a decent amount of traffic. So if you can look at like products which are related to the niche and then add those as product reviews, then that's a good way to monetize it differently. Or you can get a lot more traffic. So, and Grant says you're north of me and the tap water sucks. RO is dead water. Yes, yeah. And I guess you could throw like a little pinch of salt in there or something. I think I'd probably have to after like a sauna session or something like that. All right. And Grant is coming up with T-shirt logo, so it's beer because you can't drink bacon. It's good. It's a good one. All right. And people are talking about water. We go all over the place. All right. NEA says, what's my favorite style? You stick to IPAs, but you have a soft spot for triples and other Belgian beers. I think mostly, if you're just pressing me, if you're like, hey, what would I get? Probably a Belgian blonde or a golden strong. So that'd be like a Leffe blonde. Really like those because you could, it's a sort of a lower alcohol Belgian beer. Very, very delicious. And you could, drink a couple of those. I think it's like 6.5%, 7%. And then the golden strong, that's like a Duvel or a Lucifer, or if you're out in California, like I think Duke you may be able to get a Damnation beer. They're from Russian River. That's a great one, of course, really good. But it's going to be a little bit more alcohol, very dry and crisp, very carbonated. And the next one, I do like triples a lot and dark strongs, but those are much higher alcohol. Usually over 10% or around 9 to 11%, something like that. But you can't drink as many of those. Okay. All right. Jaron says, how have I not started a home brewing blog? I wouldn't even need to research. That's true. It would be pretty fun to do that. Maybe someday. It's a good, I thought about it a long time ago when I first started brewing, but I never stuck with it or anything. I think I had a couple articles that I wrote with my friends of like just our brew days and stuff, but we never really followed through or took it seriously. Not a huge IPA fan. No, I like lots of different beers, and actually, I drink IPAs all the time because in this area, IPAs are pretty good, like at the breweries, and they do a good job. Almost every brewery has, maybe a couple IPAs and at least one pale ale, and those are kind of the, I love them. But if you're like asking me my favorite, then yeah, Belgians for sure. And you can't get Belgians like locally brewed around here. They're okay. They're not very good, but they do a good job with American beers around here. I'll drink anything now. So, all right. Any other questions? The crowd's dwindling. We're asking questions we kind of answered before. So Vimmel says, product review versus article for buyer keyword. Which one is better? I don't know. Okay, we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. Keep an eye out for those Q&A questions. The Q&A videos that'll be coming out soon. Keep an eye out for the webinar sessions. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to the channel. Leave comments on other videos, all that good stuff. Have a great weekend, and we'll catch you next time.